There was a talented preacher who was a guest preacher at a fairly large suburban church. And he was approached by a member who sat in one of the shorter pews at front after the service, and he was a rather good-sized guy. And he comes up to the preacher and he just gives him the biggest bear hug you could possibly give. Throughout the entire sermon, this man had a great big smile on his face. I could see, the pastor could see on his name tag that his name was Willie. Now, Willie wasn't the best dressed person in the world. He was kind of disheveled and look about him, but it was like that was not important to him. He could care less what the outward appearance looked like. Willie comes up to the pastor after the big hug and he says, "You and I must be twins." Now the pastor got a little bit concerned about that and said, or didn't say, but thought to himself, boy, the last thing I wanted to be is a twin to this guy. You know, I've been working out for the last 3 months. I've lost 30 pounds. I think I'm getting better. I've dressed much more appropriately for church. Last thing I want is to be misconstrued as I'm like this guy. So later on, that afternoon, he's talking to the host pastor, and he tells the host pastor about this guy that was sitting up front with a big smile on his face and what he had done. And the pastor says, "Oh yeah, that's Willie. We all call him Mr. Love." No offense, Landon. We call him Mr. Love. He always has a smile on his face. He always is here every week. He hugs everybody. He walks older people to the car at night if it's dark out, or if it's bad weather. He plays ball with the kids. There isn't anything he wouldn't do. He will even pray with the people. He laughs with them. He even cries with them. But yes, he hugs everybody. At that point, the guest pastor kind of had a lump in his throat. He had misjudged this young man. Mr. Love, Willie. Suddenly, he found himself wishing he was more like this person. The beautifulness that came out from within. You see, beauty, if real, has very little to do with your outward appearance. But it has everything to do with your internal feelings and emotions that have a way of showing up on the outside. Hosea the prophet was talking about what was going on. And he saw what was happening. The people were not being loving and kind to each other. They were finding things to cause problems. You didn't do this, you did that wrong, you did whatever. They were not being nice. They were also being very sinful in as much as prostitution or any number of other things that they had been doing. Idolatry, lack of moral or political duty. Syria takes over because of these kinds of things. Because we lost track, or they lost, not us, they lost track of what they were supposed to be doing. Hosea puts it as, there is no faithfulness or loyalty and no knowledge of God in the land. Swearing and lying and murder and stealing and adultery break out. Bloodshed follows bloodshed. Gossiping after gossiping. These are not good things. Therefore the land will mourn and all who live in it will languish. He saw all this was going to happen, the pain that was going to cause. And he wanted to try to do something about it, to fix it. You see, what Hosea found and saw that a lot of people don't when they see or hear things that are bad, that, oh man, this is never going to work. This is not good. We need to get rid of this person or get rid of that person, or we need to quit doing this or start doing that. Hosea found the beauty of what could be. What could happen if we bring God together, put him in our lives. Stephen, there's some pictures. Oh, it got in beforehand? Okay, don't worry about it then. Just let it go. I remember the Palestinian peace accord back in '93. Yasser Arafat joins hands with Prime Minister Rabin. Now, these guys are not what I would call the best looking people in the world. But what they were representing at the time was more beauty than we could have imagined. Because they were the beauty of trying to have peace, finally. They were looking for how to love the way Jesus Christ had taught us to love. The next one is a picture of Mother Teresa. Now, she's not going to win any beauty contest, probably, for her outward appearances, but she certainly would for the hearts that she touched. She was not a movie star. She was a rather plain, simple, unpretentious woman who hurts for others who also hurts. She's trying to make lives for those who are hurting easier or better. She's trying to be more like Jesus. The more we become like Jesus Christ in our own daily lives, the more nearly we behold what our lives on earth were intended to be. The more we learn to love and take care of people, instead of trying to find faults in people or cutting people down, they don't look like us, no, they shouldn't be in here, or whatever. The more we open that up and show the love that Jesus Christ has showed all of us, the closer we're going to be to the kingdom and what God had intended for us. Each of us having our own gifts to be able to give where is needed. What is needed? To help grow and make disciples of all nations. A few years ago, there was a Florida college student who passed away in his room, his apartment. He passed away on Halloween. Finally, in December, the end of December, the landlord takes the police officer over and forces into the apartment because he's going to serve an eviction notice because he hadn't paid. Only to find the college student had passed away. Nobody had missed him. Thanksgiving and Christmas had come and gone. Nobody missed him. Don't know why his parents wouldn't, but none of his classmates missed him through all of this. None of the professors missed him through any of this. Nobody cared. That's not what I want to be. I want to be known that you knew who I was and I made a hopefully a good difference in your lives, but at least you won't forget me. And it's not because I look like Santa Claus. I hope that through my time and tenure here that I show you the love and compassion that you all deserve, and that I never fall short of that. You see, loving people is the highest level of spiritual warfare we could ever engage upon. Loving people makes us equal. I fear that there are too many people that live their lives alone, like this college student. No one even notices. Anyone who cares enough to reach out to those who are in need or that are less fortunate than we are is showing that love. Love that, as Kathy said, we could never measure. But the love that Jesus Christ taught us when he came to this earth. To be sure, if you want to be the most beautiful person you can possibly be in the world today, we need to show that love. We need to be able to be wanting to love everybody. And when I wrote this, I had forgotten that it was Communion Sunday, so I am going to skip over one other part that I was going to talk about a man named Leo who had wrote many, many books about love and what we should be doing, and nothing's on there, so as far as love is concerned. You see, the book of Hosea talks about love as well. It says, your beauty shall be like the olive tree, not our outward looks, but what we are inside, what we're bringing out to people. So do you want to be beautiful? You can be. We all can be. Most of us, in fact, already are. We just don't know it yet. If we want to be beautiful, I have 10 tips. This is not from Mary Kay Cosmetics. This is from the Jesus Salon of Life. Number 1, feed your soul the right food. Nutrition is telling us what we are to eat. So feed on prayer, eat of the Bible, and worship. And we will begin to grow beautiful as we do that. Number 2, let the golden rule be more than a needlepoint plaque on the kitchen wall. When we always seek to treat others as we want to be treated, we will tend to find we are being treated beautifully. Number 3, always be willing to cry for others and laugh at yourself. Be a person of compassion. Don't take yourself so seriously. Learn to understand. Understand humor and laughter. And be able to laugh at yourself from time to time. It truly is healthy. Number 4, never let a day pass without doing something to make life better for someone else. Number 5, never let a day pass without telling someone you love that you love them. And if at all possible, back up the word up with a hug. Number 6, be quick to praise and slow to criticize. Trust me that if you spend 100% of your time praising and encouraging people in your circle of influence, there will be many others that'll take up the cross of complaining. You need to be the positive encourager. Number 7, if you were angry at someone, pray for them twice a day. That's tough. Number 8, spend time laughing and playing with children. What a week I just had. Children are truly the most beautiful people, and with any luck, some of their beauty might rub off on us. They're not out there trying to do anything but have fun and love. Throughout this last week, I've had several little ones come up to me just because of Vacation Bible School and says, "I love you." And I tell them I love them back. And Mom says, "She never says that." Love people and be genuine about it. Number 9, count your blessings, big and small. All of us have plenty to complain about. And the more we complain, the more depressed we're going to get. Yet, if we count our blessings, and we all have them, some bigger and some smaller, it can show and discover just how beautiful life really is. And finally, discard the myths about beauty. Beauty is nothing to do with looks or appearance or cosmetics or your attire. The real beauty occurs from what's on the inside, how the person loves and how the person reacts to other people. They're not going to all do it the way we do it. They might look at us as we're weird, we're strange. But as good Christians, we look at them and they're a child of God just like we are. And we need to love them. When we see people, we should be looking at openness and loving kindness, happiness, joy, peace, and friendliness. That's when we see the beauty in people. By remembering these suggestions and putting them into practice every day, as Jose did, and as he put it, our beauty shall be like the olive tree, and our fragrance like that of the garden of Lebanon. Let us pray. Lord, help us to become beautiful on the inside rather than concerned with the cosmetics of the outside. Allow us to love our neighbors as ourselves. Allow us to be more open and less judgmental. Allow us to be like your Son has tried to teach us, and love like Jesus Christ did. Amen.